What's going on, everybody? If you're seeing this page, that means the official Torian Rain Reloaded merch store is now available. To get access to the store, make sure you go ahead and click the store tab on my YouTube channel. From there, you will be able to see all the merch that is available. We have mugs, shirts, hoodies, joggers, and so much more to come. All original designs made by yours truly, Torian Rain Reloaded. Now go ahead and get your merch today, and you can feel nothing in style. One thing I've always said on my channel, and I'll even say it off my channel and in real life to anybody who wants to hear it. Black people, specifically Black Americans, are some of the most pocket watched people on the planet. I always reiterate to that story about Floyd Mayweather doing that fight a few years ago overseas. I want to say it was in Japan. And one of the headlines that was in there was talking about how much money he stood to make from the fight rather than the fight itself and what was to come from it. But they just focused on how much money he was standing to make from it. And there's been plenty of other situations where Black people, especially those of prominence, whether they are like, somewhere in the entertainment field, about how much money they have. They love to be in their pockets. And the latest person whose pockets is being watched is Shedeur Sanders, who is the son of course, Deion Sanders, who was the quarterback for Colorado and who was doing phenomenal right now. I have high hopes that this individual, I don't want to call him a kid because he's technically an adult. I'll say this young man definitely has a bright future in the sport of football, should he actually be able to go pro, which I think is definitely going to happen without the shadow of a doubt if he continues down this path. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because recently Shedeur, his dad, Coach Prime, and Tom Brady were having a discussion on Tom Brady's podcast where it came up about Shedeur purchasing a Rolls Royce. And I believe Deion Sanders had posed the question to Tom Brady about Shedeur buying the Rolls Royce for himself. I guess it's just as a gift to himself on his recent accomplishments. To which Tom Brady came back and made this statement that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Some people thought it was funny, or they tried to laugh it off, more so those at SportsCenter. But myself and a lot of other Black people who saw that did not see that as anything funny at all. But I'm gonna go ahead and read this article coming from Men's Journal so you can find out exactly what Tom Brady said. After going full Brady mode on Saturday while taking the University of Colorado Boulder Buffaloes, to an astonishing double overtime win against the Rams, college superstar Shedeur Sanders appeared alongside his father and coach Deion Sanders on Tom Brady's Let's Go podcast. Near the end of the interview, the former Patriots star offered Shedeur some humorous financial advice. See how they said humorous? But when you hear what he says, when I read to you what he's quoted as saying, is anything but funny. When Deion asked Brady if he thought Shedeur needed the Rolls Royce he recently purchased for himself, Tom says, "I think he needs to get his ass in the film room and spend as much time in there as possible," Brady said, before reiterating less time in the car and more time in the film room. And to which Shedeur replied back with this clap back, like, listen to what he said. "I've seen you had one too, Tom. Don't think I haven't seen," Shedeur shot back. That was just a rental, Brady admitted. "I had a few bucks in my pocket at that time. At that point, I'll share some car stories when we're together next time." Now, peep that. Tom told Shedeur that when Shedeur said, "I've seen you with the Rolls Royce. Don't think I haven't seen you." Tom replied back, "That was just a rental." And to me, that says Tom might have a little animosity, because here you have this young Black superstar who's still in college, by the way. He's not getting paid on a pro level, but he's probably racking up endorsements, who's able to outright purchase, not rent, but purchase with his money a Rolls Royce. Whereas Tom Brady, somebody who has been far removed from college, been in the NFL for many years, racked up endorsements, made millions of dollars, and he is merely renting a Rolls Royce. Now, Tom Brady definitely has way more money. Since he wants the pocket watch, we're going to do it. Tom Brady has way more money than Shedeur Sanders. That's without the shadow of a doubt. But the fact that he's renting and Shedeur was able to outright purchase it probably made him feel some type of way. for him to make that comment. And he couldn't go any further because when Shedeur said that I've seen you with one, and then he had to come back and say it was a rental, then he had to pretty much dead the conversation after that. He had no leg to stand on after he said that. When he said I'm renting, while Shedeur at his age, at a very young age, might I add, because I think Shedeur, if I'm not mistaken, he's maybe 20. I want to say he's maybe 20. I could be wrong. Someone can fact check that for me. Because I think he's the youngest boy. He's not the youngest kid, but he's the youngest boy. The fact that he's able to do that and Tom Brady has to merely rent, now I see where the animosity is probably coming from. It goes on to say Shedeur solidified his status as one of the industry's freshest stars with his performance last weekend after the game. He gave an interview in which he attributed the performance to Brady's inspirational career. All I was thinking was Brady mode. That's it, he said. We talk after every game. I'm sure he's going to text me any second, but that's all I was thinking is Brady mode. If he can do it, I can do it. We're just alike. Brady replied by telling fans on Instagram, I just want to go Shedeur mode at some point in my life, which I'm sure is him actually purchasing the Rolls Royce rather than renting it. But I thought it was interesting because I read somewhere else that Tom Brady is like a mentor to Shedeur Sanders, which kind of throws me off considering his dad is not only the coach of this team, but his dad is also Deion Sanders. So it's like you already have a live-in mentor around you. So I thought it was very interesting that Tom Brady is his mentor, but I don't know. Like I just thought that was very interesting to say the least. During the episode, Brady explained why he's happy to help the young QB. I'm always here for him. In him, I see someone who has a great work ethic, but wants the knowledge too. I think all of us on this call had so many people in our lives which allowed us to be successful. Obviously having great parents, but having these other instrumental people that come in at the right time when you're open to learning. Another thing that stuck out to me too is I don't know how I almost let this slip my mind. Shedeur is the quarterback. I think I mentioned that, but I didn't link the two. Shedeur is a quarterback. We all know when it comes to that quarterback position, whether on a collegiate or a professional level, they love to give that quarterback position to people like a Tom Brady. And y'all know what I mean when I say that. And see, Tom Brady might be feeling some type of way about that. I don't know. Remember, this is the same guy that went into retirement for like 60 days. And it came out of retirement because he felt like he had a point to prove. And we were sitting there like, Tom, if you don't sit your old ass down somewhere before you get destroyed on this field by these young boys, if you don't sit down somewhere. And a lot of people, including myself, think that's what attributed to the downfall of his marriage, because she was like, okay, Tom, you're done with football. Now you can take the time out to be a family man. You know, you've done all that you can. And he's like, you know what? I think I have enough gas left in the chamber. Let me go and try this one more time. And then all of a sudden what happened? She ended up leaving and they ended up getting a divorce. And I believe she probably was about to tap out on that marriage before they got that divorce. But him going back into the NFL, that pretty much solidified for it. It's like, okay, he's tapped out on the marriage, so I'm going to tap out too. That's really what I believe. It's nothing set in stone. That's what it is. But that's something that's been floating in my mind for a while. Y'all can let me know if y'all thought the same thing. He continued, people always ask me, how good do you think this guy is going to be? And I say it depends on who he surrounds himself with. It depends on who mentors him, because even you, Deion Sanders, weren't a finished product at 21 or 22. I certainly wasn't. I had the right people come into my life, and I was open to learning from them. Sanders' performance has revitalized the Buffaloes, who won only one game last year. They'll face off this Saturday against Oregon in a much hyped game. And of course, by the time this video goes up, that game will have already been completed, because I'm recording this on Thursday, September 21st, 2023. But yeah, shout out to Shedeur for actually clapping back at him, even if he probably meant it in a more light way. But it was enough to shut Tom Brady down. Point being, Tom Brady, stay out of this guy's pockets. Let him live. If he wants to buy himself a Rolls Royce to celebrate his win, that is on him. That is his money as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying it's not all his money, because some of it's probably, of course, being funded by his dad, and it is what it is. And it also goes back to the conversation, and I forgot who brought it up, about nepo babies or nepotism children, children who were born into families from those who have prominent wealth or status. and how we hear all these stories about PC children and how reckless some of them can get. But then when the conversation of black kids who are born into privilege and wealth and status based on the accomplishment of their parents, then it always comes into question of, oh, they should work hard, they should do that. Then why don't you tell your own kids that then? A perfect example of a child born into privilege who is reckless as hell is Chet Hanks. Yes, the son of Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. Now that is an individual right there who was born into privilege, wealth, and status and didn't know what the hell to do with it. I saw a video the other day involving Chet Hanks, and they said I think it was called the downfall of a D-list Hollywood celebrity. I laughed at the title alone because like, damn, how far do you have to fall if you're already a D-list celebrity? Like when I saw the title alone, I was laughing. But I don't have to go into the whole Chet Hanks thing. We know more than we want to know about Chet Hanks. That's another one we just want to fade into obscurity and just stay in obscurity. But point blank period, Tom Hanks, stay out this boy's pockets. And like I said, PC has a tendency to do this, whether consciously or subconsciously, all the time.